Welcome everyone, thanks for joining me. This is an Archetype Healing Forecast. It's Archetype Healing Forecast 1 of a series of Archetype Healing Forecasts that you're going to be receiving about every 15 days or so if you go ahead and subscribe to my email list, and I'll be able to send these out to you. In this first part of this very first Archetype Healing Forecast, I'm going to give just a little bit of an introduction. We won't do an introduction on every single one of these like this, but just a bit of an introduction to the concepts that I would like people to understand going into these healing forecasts. Essentially, I'm just going to do a little bit of explanation about how the subtle energy body, the human subtle energy body, our human subtle energy bodies, can align with the energies of the sacred year. So there are energetics connected to the elements of the year, the seasons, that I'm basically going to label the rhythms of the year here. And then there are slightly different cycles that are connected to different energetics. And these are planetary cycles, meaning the planets that influence the planet Earth. And the planetary cycles connect with rhythms of the week. So the days of the week all have a connection to different planetary alignments. And then the days of the week, we also then have a 28-day cycle. Obviously, we have the moons. So we'll have new moons and waxing moons, full moons, waning moons, back to new moons over about 28 days. And then we have some celestial alignments with the zodiac year. So right now, as I'm recording this in the very beginning of May, ready for May 11th through 21st, we are in the zodiac month of Taurus, which is an earth sign month. There are other celestial alignments that you'll see me reference from time to time in these trainings that put us into alignment with other celestial bodies, other constellations outside of the traditional zodiac. From time to time, you'll see me reference constellations that are included in what is sometimes known as the lost zodiac, or a more ancient zodiac of 22 astrological alignments with constellations there too. So a number of celestial alignments. But the main focus of these sacred year trainings, and this corresponds directly with the periods of time that you'll be seeing me publish these for, is a focus on the archetypal realm and the connections to the archetypes that we are traveling through in time in any one specific time frame given. So the archetypal realm, as physical as these realms get, they all connect into the human energy body. The archetypal realm most specifically connects most directly with sort of a meridian of energy that is connected to the spine and the back of the human body. But the archetypal realm, as far as just sort of a spatial sense of where this is when it is not connecting into the human body, it's pretty, generally speaking, outside of the atmospheric realm, but before the planetary realm. The celestial realm would be beyond that. And somewhere between the yearly rhythms and the planetary cycles, we have the archetypal realm. Just beyond the archetypal realm, people say, is the angelic realm. And the archetypal realm houses universal human experiences that are sort of imprinted as archetypes in collective human consciousness. And we can draw strength and inspiration from these archetypes, knowing that we are moving through a specific phase of the year that has an archetypal influence from a specific archetype can help us navigate that time of year in a very similar way to how a gardener with knowledge of what season of the year they are in can navigate their gardening and create and grow more in their garden when they have that working knowledge of the rhythm of the year that they're moving through. Very similarly, we can create and manifest in our lives if we are energetically aligned, attuned, and taking full advantage of the archetypal season that we are moving through. So paying attention to where we are in the sacred year in order to align our subtle energy body's forces with the sacred year empowers our entire human form in many dimensions to really become amazing manifestors of our most inspired lives. This can help as a connection point before you go into a yoga or meditation practice, or during a yoga and meditation practice, in order to enhance that practice, to stay better connected and aligned during your practice. And then if you're going to be doing intuitive readings at the end of your practice, or as a separate practice even, those intuitive readings, even when they are personal individual readings, are more powerfully aligned with universal wisdom and consciousness when you have done a powerful connection to these archetypal forces that are sort of up for everyone on the planet, and also having the understanding that these are, global influences, planetary influences from the archetypal realm can just give you a little bit of insight as to, what's generally going on globally for everyone. And that can also come to bear on, your decisions and your context and your perspective on any one given issue. So that's my little introduction to what on earth we're doing here with an archetypal healing forecast. And that being said, I think we are ready to move into an explanation in more detail, a deeper dive into what's going to be going on May 11th through 21st. So May 11th through 21st is known as the third period of the Taurus zodiac month. And Taurus 3 is connected and associated with a tarot archetype that is usually known as the Seven of Pentacles. So we're just going to dive right in now and have a bigger look at the Seven of Pentacles. So on the left-hand side of this first slide, you will see the most probably well-known image of the Seven of Pentacles. And this image is from a tarot deck called the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, illustrated by Pamela Coleman Smith for Arthur Edward Waite's reincarnation of the tarot that he published with Rider as the publisher in 1910, and that's why it is known as the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, or RWS Tarot. There are quite a few different variants of the Rider-Waite-Smith decks out there. There's the Universal Waite, there's the Golden Rider, there's a Pamela Coleman Smith commemorative edition. I have an edition with these illustrations that is a circular deck. I like reading with circular decks. But this image is sort of a foundational image that I teach with a lot, because so many tarot decks since 1910, through what we know, especially through what we know as the Tarot Renaissance, which occurred in the 1980s and 90s, building into the 2000s and the new millennia, we now have thousands of different tarot decks, but I would say the vast majority of them draw inspiration from the core imagery that Pamela Coleman Smith has used in this Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So that's why you'll see me using this deck so much as a teaching tool. And from here, you know, if you take my Tarot for Beginners course, for instance, you will also see me give examples from other decks, and you'll see me give examples of the Seven of Pentacles in this training from other decks too. And this just sort of adds layers of meanings, different perspectives and understanding, but on the same archetype, the Seven of Pentacles. So that's why you see me use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck up on the left-hand side of most of the introductory slides. Now, other things that you see on this slide, I'm just sort of briefly introducing right now. My tarot students, when they sign up for my Tarot for Beginners course, get a PDF download of my Tarot Healing Guidebook. And the Tarot Healing Guidebook has lots of white space. My students go through their Tarot for Beginners training, sometimes taking notes right on the same pages that they have a printed copy of each of the tarot cards with the Rider-Waite-Smith variant of the card on it. And then they also have an affirmation for each card. So this affirmation that you see here on this card is one that I created for use with the Seven of Pentacles energies when they come up. And as you can see, it reads, "I trust and have patience with all my efforts," which sort of encapsulates what is generally going on energetically for a person or an individual, or in this case, for the planet in many ways, when we are going through a Seven of Pentacles experience. On the bottom right of this slide, you see the covers of two boxes of cards that I have that you'll also see me using in a lot of my trainings. These are wonderful deck and book sets written by Alison De Nicola with artwork by Sabina Expinat, and they're mudras. And when we can start, a mudra is basically a hand gesture that you can connect various energetic experiences in your body through, and enhance and even start creating and manifesting, at least in the subtle body energy, what energies you would like to bring forward and use and take advantage of in your life. So for each of these Sacred Year trainings and Archetype Healing forecasts that I'm doing, you're going to see me pairing a mudra with one of the cards with the affirmation. And this is just a very simple way to do something with the energies that are up that is going to be beneficial to you. And that really is kind of the main difference between how I teach students to use the tarot in an archetype healing, to take the tarot wisdom with them into what I call archetype healing, versus what you might see other practitioners doing with the tarot, or what people may think of as you know, the tarot and how it is to be used. I do not generally subscribe to the feeling that the tarot is a tool that is going to, quote unquote, tell you your destiny. Because I believe that your destiny is changeable. I read in a way that a lot of people call choice-centered. And choice-centered readings just sort of give you an idea of the energies that you are moving through in order to give you agency, so that you can affect and you can create and you can manifest because really the future is just a set of probabilities and possibilities, and what we do with those probabilities and possibilities really determines what our outcomes are going to be. So I bring these tools together in archetype healing, but the tarot is really sort of the foundational element there that we are playing with. It's the language that your intuition can learn to speak to you through in order to give you soul level wisdom for your soul's development, for the path that you're on in terms of your soul's journey in this lifetime. So that's kind of what is going to weave all together in this training. Let's look a little bit more now about at the Seven of Pentacles, what sort of energies the Seven of Pentacles describes. And we'll look at a couple of other slides here of examples of the Seven of Pentacles from different decks, just to get a bigger sense of that. So the Seven of Pentacles, how I teach students to read the tarot in Tarot for Beginners is to notice whether we have, major or minor cards, and in these trainings, these archetype healing forecasts, the periods of the year that we are traveling through are all connected with minor arcana cards. So each of the minor arcana cards belongs to one of 4 different suits, and the suits correspond to the 4 elements. So this is a pentacle, and so the suit of pentacles connects to the element of earth. So right now, and we talked earlier about how this is a Taurus zodiac month that we're in. This is an earth sign month. So dealing with very physical issues and considerations is really a good idea for this period, because it's very well aligned with physicality and that earth element. So anything to do with place, body, finance, all of these very material considerations of our world, our 3-dimensional world, are what this period of time can be used best to address. Now, the other thing that we see here beside the pentacles is the number 7. And very generally, there are some patterns of number that you can very easily pick up on as a Tarot for Beginner students that I'm going to just summarize here and just get straight to what a number 7 is typically about. So the numbers in a minor arcana suit of the tarot are Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you also have 4 court cards in each suit as well. But numbers 1 through 10, or Ace through 10, generally represent the stages on an experiential journey through that suit. No one number is better than any other number, but they are very different experiences. The 7 is in the last half of those numbers, right? So it's a more mature number than any of the numbers that would fall between Ace and 5, for instance. Another thing to notice about the number 7 is it is an odd number. So the odd numbers in the tarot versus the even numbers in the tarot generally represent experiences of change. Now, there are degrees of change. There is a change in just getting started with something, the absolute beginning of something with the number 1. The number 1 is an odd number. The number 3 is sort of building on that formative energy in order to sort of get a ball rolling with something energetically. It's sort of increasing energy in the 3. The 5 being right in the middle of those numbers 1 through 10. Right in the middle, this is the biggest change of any of the experiences of that elemental suit's energy. The 7 is not the biggest change. This is a point of refinement of effort here. So you can see the figure in this image sort of leaning on his tool and sort of contemplating and looking at the 7 pentacles that he apparently has grown out of this grapevine that we see here. And he is he's assessing how well his harvest is looking. It's not time to do a harvest yet, but it's certainly ripening. Is there anything he can do to help his work grow in a better way, in a more abundant way? So this is a period of assessing, fine-tuning, tweaking to get towards the next odd number, which will be the 9, and then the number of completion, the 10, in the best possible way. So this period of refining, and like the affirmation on the page says here, trusting and having patience with all of my efforts. So let's look now at some other artists' interpretations of the Seven of Pentacles. So on the left-hand side of the screen here, and you'll see me always try my best to give credit to the sources here. We can see that this is from a site called cocorina.com, which is dedicated to divine feminine tarot meanings. And there's a very different image on this card of a female figure who has her chest raised, like she's receiving an inspirational sort of blessing from the heavens. And she appears to be floating as well, or she's on her tiptoes. So she's really reaching for that heavenly or celestial inspiration in this card, rather than sort of being bowed over and contemplating something that she has created. If the pentacles are still her creation here, she is sort of offering this creation up in a way. And the key words that they've got listed on the bottom of this interpretation are perseverance, investment, and results. And you can kind of contemplate and think for yourself how those tie back to what we saw in the original image. And then on the right-hand side of this screen, we have an image of the Seven of Pentacles from the Modern Spellcasters Tarot, by Melanie Marquis, artwork by Scott Murphy. And this is a very interesting illustration. If you look at this, the person in this card has 7 pentacles laid around the base of this plant pot that has an alchemical symbol in the middle of it, and then has 7 crystals, which are also symbols of the earth element, sort of stuck into the bottom of this plant pot. If you ask me, the plant that is growing here seems to be possibly a marijuana plant, right? If you are using something like cannabis in a conscious way, this can also be seen to be representative of receiving inspiration and guidance in order to refine your experience. There are good ways and bad ways to use any substance, of course. This seems to be a very conscious, mindful watering of the crystals here and the plant itself. So persevering, not quite yet at a harvest level, but sort of having patience, perseverance, investing so that you can receive results pretty soon, seem to all be themes coming up in this variant of the Seven of Pentacles too. And on this screen we have the final 2 alternative examples of the Seven of Pentacles that I found for this little class. And on the left-hand side, we have the Seven of Pentacles from the Evolutionary Tarot. And on the right-hand side, we have the Seven of Pentacles from the Druidcraft Tarot. What you are seeing in at least 3 of the 4 alternative versions of this card that I have shown you today is an effort in a garden or an effort in nature that has to do with growing and getting ready to harvest, or as we see in the Druidcraft Tarot, the Druid is harvesting some mistletoe from an oak tree. So he is, with his golden scythe, actually having a harvest moment there. But this is a harvest of inspiration in order to bring more love in to his world, or the world of the people who follow him, perhaps. Because the mistletoe is obviously a symbol of, it's an aphrodisiac, and the tradition of kissing under the mistletoe goes back to very ancient times, where in Druidic times it was said that the mistletoe represented the semen of the gods. And so it's sort of a fertility symbol that is there with the symbol of aphrodisia. And this is really kind of a theme that you can see playing out in all of the sevens of all of the different suits. You'll see me talking about this in Tarot for Beginners when we're talking about the Seven of Cups, the Seven of Swords, and the Seven of Wands, as well as the Seven of Pentacles. Sevens, in a sense, are a change that is more about refinement from inspiration. It's an inspirational experience that is guiding this refinement of the seven. And here on the left-hand side, let's talk a bit about this rather happy-looking gardener figure that we see with his staff walking through a garden that is growing things higher than his head, right? So his creation is growing and becoming quite abundant feeling there. I also really like this particular depiction of the Seven of Pentacles because of the stained glass window behind him. Now, what this harkens back to, for me, is the Rider-Waite-Smith variant's depiction of the Five of Pentacles, which was the most recent change before the seven, right? And the five, remember, is the number that represents the greatest change in a minor arcana journey through the numbered cards. The Five of Pentacles in particular is often seen as an experience of lack or poverty, or how do I say this? Kind of the most devastating or the most impactful change of the entire suit of Pentacles. So, if there's anything that's physically going to need big upheaval in one's life, a Five of Pentacle moment would really represent that big physical change. So the Seven of Pentacles with a stained glass in the background here sort of harkens back to that big change, but now things are feeling more stable, and instead of a scene of poverty and impoverishment in front of the stained glass windows, now we have this very colorful image with all of these flowers blooming. So things are have rebalanced. In fact, the period of time that we're just coming out of now did correspond to the Six of Pentacles. And the sixes are all about rebalancing after great change. The sixes being even numbers. Even numbers are always about balancing in some regard, whereas the odd numbers are all about change in some regard. So we had rebalancing after great change with the Six of Pentacles, and now we have Seven of Pentacles. What still can be changed and fine-tuned a little bit and refined a little bit in order to go into the 8, the 9, and the 10, which are sort of ever increasing images of abundance and manifestation in most of the decks. So that's sort of the period that we're in right now. And this is just something to be aware of. So if you want to put your focus on anything that feels like you need to refine it, that would be influencing your physical world right now, now would be a really good time for that, because the archetypal realms energies that we're moving through in our calendar year are very well aligned for that sort of refining of your physical experience work, if that makes sense. Okay. And we don't want to go too long on these trainings, so I'm going to leave my explanation of what sort of might be up in a Seven of Pentacles time frame really at that for tonight. And we're going to finish up with a slide that sort of brings that affirmation together with a mudra, which might be very helpful for you maybe at the end or the beginning of a yoga practice or meditation practice between May 11th and 21st. If you wanted to play with this little energy exercise that I'm about to share with you, that would be a good time to do it. Right. So the mudra that I have chosen is from the element connecting mudra deck that I showed you in the first slide. And the mudra is it's technically connected to the sacral chakra more than any other chakra, although it does have a connection with the root chakra as well. But it is titled Fluidity, and the Vedic name for this mudra is the Matsya mudra. And what this mudra is beneficial for is inner refreshment, emotional ease, and nourishment. So at this point in our journey with whatever we're developing in the physical realm, it's really important for us to stay fluid, not become rigid just yet. You know, this guy can't become rigid with this assessment of the crops that he's growing. He might need to change some things up in order to get the best outcome and the best harvest here. So remaining fluid while sort of encouraging yourself, you know, finding that emotional ease and emotional nourishment is super important at this stage, and this mudra just sort of brings all of that together for us. The benefits of this mudra, as you can see listed on the back of this card, if you get this card deck, you get these little assists and benefits and instructions and focus on each of these cards. It says that it releases muscular contraction when practiced properly. It can also support joints. It can ease inflammation, and it can cultivate emotional fluidity and calmness. And then the focus down at the bottom is actually another affirmation. So what we're going to do here after we form this mudra is we're just going to move it through our body, in front of our body in a way, and I'm going to repeat for us the focus affirmation on the card, followed by I trust and have patience with all my efforts, and we'll repeat that sequence of 2 affirmations 3 times through. So go ahead, and just like you see in the picture, you're going to go ahead and lay the top, lay the palm of your right hand on top of your left hand, so that your right thumb points out towards the left and your left thumb points out towards the right, okay? And then you're going to bring this mudra position that your hands are in front of your body, around waist height. And from here, you're going to inhale. And as you inhale, lift your hands, retaining this mudra position, up along with your inhale. As it rises, as your inhale fills your body, you're going to bring this mudra up all the way over your head. And then at the top of your inhale, you're just going to start exhaling and slowly bringing this mudra back down in front of your belly and in front of your waist at the bottom of your exhale. And leave a little stillness at the bottom of your exhale. So inhaling, retaining the mudra and bringing it all the way up overhead in front of you. Exhaling, lowering the mudra down in front of your waist. So repeat this little inhale and exhale motion to do with this mudra. And I'm going to go ahead and go through those affirmations while you do this motion and breath work at your own pace now. Here we go. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. I trust and have patience with all my efforts. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. I trust and have patience with all my efforts. Now, before we do our third repetition of these affirmations, bring this mudra shape in front of your belly. And then from here, go ahead and inhale, move the mudra shape to your side as you sort of come to the side. Doesn't matter which side you do first. I always kind of do the left first. You can do the left or the right, whatever feels good. And then on your exhale, you're going to bring the mudra all the way in front of you and over to the opposite side of your body. Inhale, bring it back to the original side. Exhale, move it in front of you at belly height towards the opposite side. So repeat this side to side motion that you're doing with the mudra and your standing position now while we repeat our affirmations one more time. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. I trust and have patience with all my efforts. Relax your hands to your side. Inhale your arms up overhead. Bring your palms into your heart and bring your palms in front of your heart. Gently close your eyes. Keeping your eyes closed, let's receive our affirmations one more time. Gentle waves of ease flow through my mind and body. I trust and have patience with all my efforts. When you're ready, deepening your inhale and your exhale, gently opening your eyes. Thank you for joining me for this little energy connection session that we've just been through. So it's a great little connection session that we just did that will really move well with whatever your personal practices are to connect you with this time period from May 11th or so through to about the 21st. After May 21st through to May 31st, we are going to be moving into a time period that is connected with a different archetype. And the archetype that's coming up next is going to be an archetype called the Eight of Swords. And I'll be putting out another one of these Sacred Year Energy Connection Archetype Healing sessions for that Eight of Swords period coming up. That will be Gemini 1. So there's a couple of ways that you can do more with me. If you want to receive the next energy connection session, in your inbox, in your email inbox, you'll find a place on this page to make sure that you're subscribed to receive that email, and I'd love to have you join us. Thank you. If you're ready for more, and you're interested in how I do energy connection and archetype healing along with using the tarot as the language that your soul gets to speak to you through, you can actually find a way to explore enrolling in a monthly subscription service that I offer called the Healing with the Archetypes Mastery Circle. There's no obligation to stay enrolled in the Healing with the Archetypes Mastery Circle. If you check it out for your first month and then decide that it's not for you, you can absolutely just contact me and cancel, and you can opt out at any time. But the really neat thing that you get if you enroll in the Healing with the Archetypes Mastery Circle in your first month, which is yours to keep whether you continue on or not, is you receive my full 12-part Tarot for Beginners course, which is a video-based course. There's 12 video lessons that you go through, a lot like the video lesson we've just gone through here today. And right now, if you go and enroll in the Healing with the Archetypes Mastery Circle, there's a link on this page you can click through and learn more about what we're going to be doing in that Mastery Circle month in, month out. But the first month is pretty much focused on getting the foundational wisdom of the tarot in, so that you then have that language to use in all of the additional work that we will be doing from that point on. It is so crucial that your soul level wisdom has a language that has specificity to speak to you through. And the tarot, with its 78 different cards, all with different images on them, a picture is worth 1,000 words, can be used as a very expressive language of that soul level wisdom, so that you're not just getting feelings and, you know, pangs or sort of sensations when you connect to your energy body in order to do intuitive work in your life, which will enhance your ability to manifest your most inspired life. With the tarot, you can get very, very specific, and your intuitive wisdom can give you much more specific messages once you have that foundational language under you. What you will find, what you probably already sense just from the little bit of work we've done together here today, is that I teach tarot in a very empowering, choice-centered way. And the number one myth about learning to read the tarot that I like to dispel right out of the gate for everyone is that it does not require memorization in order to learn the tarot. There are 78 cards, and people get very intimidated by that when they think that they're going to have to memorize 78 different meanings of cards. And then they think about the reverse cards and think, oh gosh, I've got to memorize 156 different meanings. That's not true at all. You will find precious little to zero memorization involved in the way that I teach tarot for beginners. To go through all 12 of those video lessons, it takes just under 10 hours. When you enroll in Healing with the Archetypes in the Mastery Circle today, it's $47, which is 40% off what you will usually purchase tarot for beginners for on my website, which is $78. So 47 is a very big discount, 40% off that 12-part course. The 12-part course takes 10 hours to go through. You have lifetime access to this video course, and you have instant access to this video course if you want to go ahead and enroll in the Mastery Circle today. And again, if you find that the Mastery Circle is not for you, you just email me at any point during that first 30 days of your Mastery Circle membership, and I will unsubscribe you so that you don't get billed for the next $47 the next month. If you want to stay in, you can click through and learn all about the other work that we're going to be doing in the Mastery Circle. It basically builds this practice of archetype healing for you with the language of the tarot, coupled with energy work for purposes of healing and manifestation. It's really cool. I'd love you to join me in the Mastery Circle as well. So however you choose to continue your journey, I hope you stay in touch. Thank you so much for checking out this archetype healing forecast today, and I'll see you on May 21st. Take care now.